So tonight we are setting chicken eggs and quail eggs in the incubator. We have about 5.5 quail eggs we're going to set and about 3 dozen chicken eggs we're going to set. Our chicken eggs, for the most part, are a mixture of a little bit of everything. We've got an I.M. Samani rooster in with our pasture hens. So we have California whites and barred rocks that are, and Easter eggers that are out there. The barred rocks are pretty much the only ones that are laying right now. So the I.M. Samani rooster, that egg is actually cracked right there, so I'm not going to set that one. If you can see it, that's actually a zombie egg, and a zombie is a cross between a white leghorn hen and an I.M. Samani rooster, but I'm not going to set that one, like I said. So the barred rock hen and the I.M. Samani rooster will actually produce a fibercana cross. When you're setting your eggs, you want to make sure that you are setting the large part of the egg up and the pointy part of the egg down, because that's where the air cell is going to form. Eggs are very porous, so they have the large pores in them, and that's what allows the air to move into and out of the egg as the chick develops. So the more space that air cell has to form inside of the eggshell as embryo develops, that's going to allow more air for it to breathe. So we want enough air in that egg cell to potentially develop if they're fertilized. We will be able to tell if these eggs are fertilized at 10 days. It's set between 7 to 10 days. We can actually start candling them at 7 days. And if you don't know what candling is, that's where we take this device like this, or a flashlight. We actually will hold it on top of the egg like this and shine the light into the egg. And we should be able to see that air cell up here at the top. And if we see that air cell, that means we have good fertilization. The further we get into development, we'll start seeing veining, like a spider web throughout the cell, throughout the egg. And as it continues to develop, we'll be able to see baby move. We'll be able to see eyes. We'll be able to see the beak, and lots of other things going on as baby continues to develop. Now, these are mine and Annabelle's very special eggs. These are our project eggs that we're working on. These are our I.M. Samani / Americana crosses. These are going to produce a blue fibercana, and I want to keep a very close eye on these guys. So these are actually going to go in the middle of the incubator where the window is prominently, so that I can see them. Mainly just because I want to keep very, very close eye on them. Not that I don't care about the rest of them, I do. But these are a little bit more special and near and dear to my heart than the rest of them. No offense to the rest of them. We actually do have a blue fibercana Cornish cross. And I don't know which eggs are hers. I actually think that's one of hers. She kind of lays a creamy colored speckled egg. She's a really pretty chicken, and she's a really sweet chicken, but she's technically injured right now. Alright, so that's all of our chicken eggs. So we're going to stick our top of our incubator on here. Our incubator needs to be at 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit, and it needs to be at about 50 degrees humidity. We're at 99.4, and we are at 49% humidity. Of course, the top's been off, so that's why it's a little low, but it'll come up as it warms up in there. Okay, now we are going to set our quail. With our chicken eggs, last thing I need to mention, okay, they have to incubate for a total of 21 days. At 18 days, we will lock them down. Lockdown means that we will take the turners out so that they will stop auto turning. and we will just lay them down in there on the bottom so that they can hatch. They typically will start pipping between those 19 to 21 days. Not all of them will hatch. We hope for, we shoot for a 65 to 70% hatch rate. That's typically pretty good. Anything better than that is phenomenal. So here's our Cortonix quail eggs. They're really pretty. We get some really big ones, some really pretty ones, some blue speckled. As you can see, they lay all different kinds of patterns. So again, same thing with the chicken eggs. You want to go big side up, pointed side down. And some of our quail eggs are a little small. So I'm really hoping that they're all gonna fit in the turners. So far they are. Fingers crossed that they're all gonna stay fitting. And as I'm setting these, I'm just going through and making sure that they don't have any cracks in them, they don't have any holes, because obviously if they do, that egg is not going to be any good, and it's not going to hatch. So with quail eggs, they have a different incubation period than chicken eggs do, because obviously they're smaller. They're going to incubate for 18 days, so we are going to lock them down at 14 days. And we've got so many quail eggs, we're not going to be able to set them all. So Annabelle, we're going to have to go through and pick which ones we want to set and which ones we don't want to set. So I would say let's definitely set the biggest ones and pull probably the smallest ones. Like, yeah, these big blue speckled ones, I definitely want to set those. Okay. So like I said, we have so many quail eggs that we can't set them all. We still have 2 full dozen. So we still have 27 quail eggs that we can't even set because we have so many quail eggs. Same thing, just for the incubation, as far as the incubator goes, 99.5 on temperature, and humidity needs to be between 55 to 60 for them, so a tad bit higher. Not too much, but just a little bit higher. And like I said, lockdown day for them will be day 14 instead of day 18. And then hatch day should start being day 18 for them. So we are going to leave them alone. We will not open the incubator at all, except to do just to add water as they need it, because obviously the water reservoirs are in the bottom of the incubators of these two. So we will have to open them every once in a while just to add some more water to keep the humidity levels up. But once these go on lockdown, we will not open them at all, because we will not want to lose any humidity in these incubators when we go on lockdown. Because if we lose humidity once we go on lockdown, it can actually cause the membranes inside the shells to shrink if the eggs have pipped, and it can adhere to or suction up to the chick, and it can basically suffocate the chick. So once they go on lockdown, we don't open them at all. The only reason we would open them is if we've had a chick that has pipped and we see it's having difficulty. Once a chick has pipped and it should technically hatch within 24 hours after the initial pip. If it has not hatched within the initial 24 hours, in that first 24 hours, then we have to make the decision whether or not we're going to intercede and help that chick or not. If it's the first chick that's pipped and none of the others have pipped, we kind of have to play devil's advocate and figure out if it's worth saving the life of one versus risking the life of the rest. So that's where it gets really hard determining whether or not what we want to do. So come back and watch and keep up with us as we go forward with these guys. Hopefully we have a really good hatch success rate. Hopefully our project chicks, our I Am Samani Splash Americanas, which are our blue fibercanas, hopefully they turn out really well and they have a good hatch rate on them. And hopefully we get a good hatch rate on our quail, and just follow along and hopefully everything turns out great. Thanks guys.